up, Internet, and welcome back to On the Sofa Live. If you're new, do subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. This story is from The Canary by Willem Moore. Mothin Ali calls Burnham a coward over Gaza genocide stance. On the 9th of July, Andy Burnham issued a statement regarding Labour's stance on Gaza. In it, our incoming Prime Minister refused to call Israel's action a genocide and did little to say anything different to Keir Starmer. Accordingly, Canary writer Joe Glenton described the statement as a micro-toast sop. And he wasn't the only one to notice Burnham is trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Mothin Ali, one of the deputy leaders of the Green Party, said this: Andy Burnham is a coward. He apologised for the position this Labour government has taken on Palestine, but he won't call it a genocide. He hides behind international law. He won't commit to sanctioning Israel. He won't commit to the British government to stop sharing intelligence. And resources with Israel, and won't commit the RAF to stop doing spy flights over Gaza. What he forgets is the minute you suspect a genocide, we have an obligation to take steps and save lives. Just like he forgets that Greater Manchester doesn't just mean growth in the centre, but for every community that feels left behind, like Wigan, like Rochdale, like Bolton. All our communities should be protected. That's why we need Green Party Geraldine, and that's the difference she will make. And there's some footage of him as well.
I think I saw this.
Let's see what he had to say.
Meeting residents, people who have been forgotten about by Andy Burnham's Manchesterism. He's concentrated his growth strategy on the centre of Manchester and not worried about the communities that, like Oldham, like Rochdale, like Bolton, Wigan, all of these towns that surround, that have been forgotten about. This is a Greater Manchester mayoral campaign. This is a Greater Manchester mayor position. Every community needs to be protected. Andy Burnham yesterday apologised for Labour's reaction to what happened in Gaza, the genocide in Gaza. And he still failed to call it a genocide. He still failed to say that he'd commit to sanctions on Israel. He still failed to say that the British Army and the British intelligence would stop sharing our services with the Israeli army and stop doing reconnaissance flights. So Andy Burnham is hiding behind international law. He's a coward who's hiding behind international law. Because what we should be doing right now, what he forgets that we should be doing right now, is the minute we suspect a genocide, we should take immediate action and do everything necessary to stop it. Andy Burnham is a coward. He's failed these communities. He's failed the position on Gaza. And that's why we need change. We need someone who's brave, someone who's confident, someone who's compassionate and cares about everyone here. And that's why Geraldine matters.
So he went from trashing the prime minister to promoting someone for mayor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate to break this news to people, but the mayor cannot help you when it comes to Gaza, Palestine, or anything in that realm.
Yeah. But I've met the guy. He's a nice guy, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, he was at the Yorkshire Green Party conference, and he's a really nice guy.
So he's neglected. Like, the thing is, everybody loves where I'm from. Everyone loves Gavin Newsom. I think he's one of the worst human beings on earth. But I live in the state. I live in the state that he was in charge of.
Yeah. The article goes on. The coward Burnham. His Gaza statement included the following line: "I have been absolutely appalled by what I've seen and read about the destruction of Gaza. There's increasing evidence that war crimes appear to have been committed. And also this: there must be accountability for the depth of the suffering the people of Gaza have experienced. Ultimately, however, it must be for the international courts to determine rather than politicians. There's clearly a double standard here, one which suggests Burnham will ultimately fail to deliver on opposing Israel. Saul Staniforth said this: "Compare and contrast. Andy Burnham says Russia has committed war crimes in Ukraine, but when it comes to Gaza, he only says war crimes appear to have been committed, and he doesn't name by who. He also says it's up to courts to determine, not politicians." And he's included screen grabs there. He's brought receipts. This is no surprise, of course, as we've been reporting. In recent days, Andy Burnham has been vocal about Ukraine, but quiet about Palestine. Like Hope Not Hate, the double standard is telling. And to be honest, it doesn't surprise me that Andy Burnham is hesitant to call what's happening in Gaza a genocide, and hesitant to promise to put sanctions on Israel, because I'm pretty sure he's still part of Labour Friends of Israel.
That's the problem. They're all in bed with each other as far as politicians go.
Yeah. And I honestly think nothing much will change under Andy Burnham. He's just Keir Starmer with a northern accent.
But isn't that the scary nature of mass movements? Because everybody, when they were voting, it was to get Starmer out, and they replaced it, like you said, with another Starmer.
Yeah. And that's the problem, because Starmer spent most of the time in opposition, purging the left from the Labour Party. There's only people in the Labour Party, the only Labour MPs that are left now are, well, most of the Labour MPs that are left now, with one or two exceptions, are Starmerites.
Yep.
They're people who are loyal to Keir Starmer and his vision for the party. And Andy Burnham's one of them. And so I don't think much is going to change under Andy Burnham.
Does everybody keep their position, like David Lammy? Do all those people, or does the new prime minister get to appoint people in new positions?
Yeah, I think there. Excuse me. Yes, I think there will be a reshuffle, but I think most of them will keep their positions. Yeah. The article goes on. It's also the case that Burnham and his key appointees are in the foreign influence operation known as Labour Friends of Israel, as Ranjan Balakumaran reported for the Canary. Andy Burnham has spent years crafting a specific public myth. He is the king of the North, the casual jacket-wearing anti-Westminster populist who promised to smash the white wall bubble, reverse decades of devastating deindustrialization, and bring failing water utilities back under public control. But as he prepares to enter Downing Street as Prime Minister, the mask has officially slipped. Burnham has handed the keys of Number 10 to his new Chief of Staff, James Burnell, the ex-chair of Labour Friends of Israel, a former BBC executive and the CEO of Flint Global, an elite corporate lobbying outfit that protects private water companies from state takeovers, and was recently sold to a private equity firm notorious for price gouging the NHS.
It's the same bird, different wings of the same bird.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll,
Speaking. Sorry,
oh,
go on.
no, they'll just say someone's right wing or left wing, and I always tell my son it's the same bird.
Yeah, yes.
And you're not that bird.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all part of the same club, and we're not in that club.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing here.
Yeah.
I know this is going to be a Farage heavy stream. I recently saw Farage was on a barge, and of course it was James O'Brien, but he asked, where was that held? They were on a yacht somewhere in the middle of the ocean with a bunch of people who are nothing but exclusionary.
Yeah.
Not normal citizens.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking out. In full, Mothin Ali said, Andy Burnham is a coward. He apologized for the position this Labour government has taken in Palestine, but he won't call it a genocide. He hides behind international law. He won't commit to sanctioning Israel. He won't commit to the British government to stop sharing intelligence and resources with Israel, and he won't commit the RAF to stop doing spy flights over Gaza. What he forgets is the minute you suspect a genocide, we have an obligation to take steps to say and save lives. Just like he forgets that Greater Manchester doesn't mean growth in the centre, but for every community that feels left behind, like Wigan, like Rochdale, like Bolton, all our communities should be protected. That's why we need Greater Manchester Mayor candidate Geraldine Coggins, and that's the difference she will make. Ali isn't the only Green Party. Ali isn't the only Green speaking out either. Zach Polansky said this, Burnham talks as if the genocide in Gaza is in the past, but it's happening now. Britain is arming Israel now. The UN report is from 2 weeks ago. Burnham must commit to fully ending UK complicity now. And he shared a news story with the headline, UN Commission of Inquiry says Israel committing genocide in Gaza by deliberately targeting children. And that's a good point, isn't it? The genocide in Gaza is still going on.
We are so distracted by everything else that the sad thing is that what we think of like Gaza and Palestine doesn't exist because they've been so reduced.
Yeah.
And we're like, it's one of those things, like we take our everyday life for granted and people are literally disappearing.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
I am at a loss for words when it comes to Palestine and Gaza sometimes, because it's a genocide in real time in our lifetime.
Yeah, this is right. And no, there have been other genocides in the past, of course, but no other genocide has been live streamed onto our phones and other devices like this.
I'll argue, though, right around the time of Haley's Comet, people started paying attention to South Africa and Ethiopia, and, people were dying of famine and genocide. And that's when all the comic relief and farm aid and all these, I can't remember what it's called, a Red Nose Day.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That's where all of these organizations came from, was genocide and famine.
Yeah.
But in today's world, we are so distracted. It's strange.
It is. Yeah. Prepare to be disappointed. This isn't the only instance of Burnham trying to dupe voters. Willem Moore tweeted this. Like when he hinted at nationalism despite having no intention to deliver on that front, this hollow statement is going to make everyone madder than if he just said nothing. And that was in response to Pippa Crerar, who said, exclusive. Andy Burnham has apologized for Labour's initial response to Israel's military action in Gaza, saying that the party didn't get it right and needs to do better under his leadership. as he signals a significant shift in the UK's approach to the Middle East. So these are just words. These are just meaningless platitudes. We need action from Burnham when he becomes Prime Minister, because otherwise, this is just sophistry, nothing more.
I was talking about this the other day. I have yet to meet a politician who has ever followed through on their campaign promises, ever.
Yeah.
I think we put too much hope on these politicians. They have the power to change, but they're not for us necessarily.
No, yeah, exactly. They're just out for their own interests and the interests of their cronies.
And it's scary watching your country turn into mine.
Yeah.
Nige is Donald Trump. He's doing the exact same thing that Donald Trump did.
Yes, he's emulating him in every respect.
Every respect. Did you guys ever care about voter ID? Ever? That's an American issue. That is a staunch, hardcore American issue. And I watched a half-hour argument last night about voter ID, about people in the UK, and I was like, oh, you're doomed.
Yeah. Yeah, we're cooked.
They're fighting to do that here, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't. As we reported on the 30th of June, when Andy Burnham unveiled his plan to run in the Makerfield by-election, the establishment media claimed he would renationalise utilities. Because we actually listened to what he was saying, we knew this wasn't the case, and we pointed it out. Burnham himself disagreed with our assessment that he had no plan to end the privatisation nightmare. Now Burnham has made it clear his Labour government will not offer anything besides half measures. And Saul Staniforth tweeted this: Andy Burnham confirming he won't take part. He won't take our key infrastructure back into public ownership.
On utilities, we will ensure all parts of the UK are able to take greater public control of essential services like water, housing, energy and transport, learning from the model that has transformed our bus networks here in Greater Manchester. We will set out 10-year plans to bring down the cost of these essentials to individuals, families and businesses.
Yeah, it's just going to be more of the same under him. And the article concludes, under Keir Starmer, voters got little besides cold gruel. Andy Burnham has run Starmer's slop through the microwave for 30 seconds, but it's still not warm and it's still fucking gruel.
It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
That's why it's easy for someone like Nige to slip in, because he's just going to tell you everything you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. But we're going to be talking about more about him in a bit. We're going to be talking about Nigel Farage plenty.
It's amazing to me how the government will make everyone disenfranchised, and then they wonder why they join a mass movement.
Yeah. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. And please do me a favor and like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and do leave a comment because that would really help me out with the algorithm. Okay, bye for now.